to today's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. Today we have returning guest Josh from Cutthroat Comics. Josh, what do you got going on this time?
Oh, well, I'm kind of making the rounds for the next Turkey Sharks Kickstarter. This is issue 4, so it's actually the furthest I've made it on any comic run, because we just did 3 issue runs of the other one, so now we're on 4 of this one. Planning on continuing this one for a while. I don't know, 300 issues. I don't know, but right now we're at 4.
There you go. It's going to be a long time. You got to try to beat the Spawn run now.
Right, yeah. I don't see that happening, but you never know.
Yeah. Hey, look, Dave Sim ran 301 issues, so yeah. People forget that.
Yeah.
That was the one thing that threw me when they hit the 301. They're like, the record breaking. And I'm like, no, because Cerberus did 0 to 300.
Oh, okay.
So there's 301 issues.
Right. So, he's way over that now, though, I think.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a dork and I remember that stuff. So what's going on with Turkey Sharks?
Just a bunch of silliness, more or less. I'm trying to even remember. I'm editing it right now, so we're about to go to color. We got 1, 2, 3 new characters. Another character returns and becomes a new character, as happens in comics. Somebody's getting married. Somebody maybe loses their powers forever. I mean, it's just a lot of dumbness, really.
There's a lot going on in one issue of a comic.
Yeah.
What's the average page count on Turkey Sharks?
I do just the minimum, so it's 23 pages plus a credits page, and then 4 covers, outside and interior. So okay. Whatever that 28 or whatever that adds up to. So
yeah, because some people go crazy with it, and other people are like,
yeah.
12 issues, 12 pages. That sucks.
Yeah, 24 is the minimum that you can print, at least through the company I do it through. So I just go with the minimum, and if I were to need to go over, I would, but I try to just make it that, because I mean it's expensive to make. You're looking at $3,000 per comic with the art and everything. So.
Oh, and what's the run on that? 3,000 for 1,000 books?
I honestly don't even really, except for the variant covers. Like, I just kind of print until I'm done with it. So like Ginger Avenger, we've got 46 or 47 copies of 1, 2, and 3 left, and I'm only selling them as a set. But I haven't kept count of how many we've sold, really. So probably should, I suppose, but
Yeah, you need to keep that math there, so when you do upgrade, you can take your math and go, look, this book puts out this much.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, I know which ones sell quicker than others, but just as it is.
They for some reason people want to know numbers.
Yeah.
Now, with Turkey Sharks ongoing, when does your Indiegogo start?
It's a Kickstarter, yeah. June 7th through July 7th. So
okay.
We've got how many covers? We got 4 covers this time, I think, something like that. I don't know. Have you seen the when the Power Rangers do the helmet covers where they got their helmet off?
Yep.
We got 2 of those. The A cover, and then Tyler Haddix is back doing a cover for issue 4 as well.
Okay. Now, what do you got going on with the Kickstarter? You got any, pledge bonuses and stuff like that?
Yeah, this is the 4th one I've done, 3rd or 4th. Mm-hmm. I don't go too crazy like a lot of people, with all the stretch goals and bonuses and all that. Mine are pretty basic. You get your comics. I bundle them together. The variants you get for cheaper through my Kickstarter, because the variant covers, which are usually around 200 print run, something like that. When I sell them at cons and stuff, and on the website, they're $10. On the Kickstarters, I sell them for $8, and then and I do bundles together. If you get all 4 or 5 covers, it's a discounted price too. So
you have the 1 regular cover and the 4 variants, right?
I think it's one A cover and 3 for this one. I think we had 4 for the last one.
Okay.
It's a
I was
lot
thinking that. Yeah.
it's a lot to remember. It's a lot to carry around. That's kind of why I'm like, man.
I couldn't imagine taking all that. I mean, I drag an entire van full of books with me
Right.
everywhere I go. And when you got to take your own books,
Yeah, it's hard to even remember. Like I got Pittsburgh next week for Three Rivers Con. I got to go through and make sure I've got all the variants bagged and boarded and have enough inventory with me to not run out and stuff. So
you ever had to drop ship your own books to you at a convention?
no, I've never had to do that. Not yet. Maybe one day. Fingers crossed. It's a good problem to have, I think.
Oh yeah. I've seen a few people do that. They didn't take enough stuff. They sold out first day. They had to get drop shift their own stuff from their, overnight it so they can have stuff for the second day.
Right. Yeah. I've thought about in the future if that happens or something, but I think I'll probably be good at. I think I've sold out of things a few times, but I don't do the cons that are like a week long. I just do 1 or 2 days typically. So
Yeah. I I I don't know if I could ever do like one of them 4 day ones. 2 days. I remember doing 2 days, and those are rough, man. I was
yeah,
like,
I'm trying to remember if I've ever done a 3 day. I feel like I have. Yeah, I think I've done like a Friday, Saturday, or like a half Friday, then a Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, it gets long, and just like now, you lose your voice from talking to people.
and I hate to say this, but you almost always come back from it sick because
Yep.
you're around all those people for the entire weekend. So
Yeah, I've gotten pretty good at avoiding that. Like after every customer, I've got hand sanitizer. Like as soon as they walk away and they're not looking, I'm like, yep. What's your cooties?
I got a little bag I keep on my hip. It's like a military style one. It goes on my belt. I keep my stuff in it, like my glasses and what. Man, I got my bottle of hand sanitizer in there. It's like pop.
Yep.
It's like because
Yeah, I
it's
learned.
bad because you think we would gotten used to this by now because we were dealing with con crud way before COVID,
Yep.
and yet here we are.
Yep. It's gotten a lot better. I think only every now and again does it hit me now, but
Yeah. Well, when all this hit right before this, so this is maybe the end of 2018. I was always carrying hand sanitizer,
mm,
but about 2018, I started using it after every transaction. And I'm like, man, I got sick like once that
yep.
entire year. And I'm like, oh man, maybe that's what I need to do.
Yep. I try to. It's sometimes you forget if it's busy enough, you forget to do it, but in between. But yeah, it helps for sure.
Yep. Now, you got any of your regular prose novels that you're working on right now?
I've been trying, so I'm getting ready to start the third Hellscape book, but to do that, I had to go through and read and take notes on the first two. So I've been trying to do that, but I mean, it's been like I told you earlier, I was about to take a nap, and I expected to take like 10, 15 minutes. It ended up being 2 hours. So I was like, man, I've been pushing real hard on everything recently, on top of being sick or whatever. But yeah, I'm almost done reading the second book. I've got my notes are right here next to me on what I want to do with the third book and stuff. So it's coming along. I'm hoping to start it. I don't know. I might wait till I get back from Pittsburgh. Maybe I'm not sure. We'll see. See how I'm feeling.
Yeah, Pittsburgh is that's where are you at right now? I'm sorry, I forget where you're at.
Finley, based out of
Finley.
Finley.
That's yeah. And man, that'd be a hell of a drive all the way from Finley to Pittsburgh. Oh,
Yeah, I'll probably get up at like 3 a.m. and head that way on next Saturday morning, I guess. I'll do the con. I'll go to the hotel, do the con Sunday, and then drive back. So yeah, it'll be rough, but I'll be all right.
I remember the good old days of Pittsburgh Comic Con. So
Yeah, yeah. I haven't. This is Three Rivers Comic Con. I've never done this one, but should be pretty cool. There's some pretty good guests there, and I know Matt Horick, who did Stingray 2 cover. He works for Marvel. He's going to be there. So he and I haven't been in the same spot since Gym City like 2 years ago, I think. So that'll be cool. We're doing a little double signing there, and I've got some books that I'm gonna after I get off with you, I'm gonna clean them up and get them pressed and graded and stuff, and throw them on eBay and make some money off of them. So
yeah, I got a guy got a hold of me the other day, and of course he got a hold of me Saturday, and I'm like, man, I'm not gonna be here. I'm only gonna be here half a day today. And he's like, I got a bunch of key Spider-Man. And he sends me a picture of them, and I'm like, oh, I want all those.
mhm. Yeah.
like 3 of them are graded. I'm like, all right, we'll see how this goes. So it's one thing. So I have to ask you though, 'cause I've ran into this, and you're selling graded books on eBay.
I
Have you had?
just started doing that. So
Okay, man, I've had people argue with the grade on eBay.
oh yeah, it's like I didn't grade it. You
Yeah,
know, yeah.
I had a 9.8 something's killing the children,
Mm.
and the guy bought it and then sent it back to us. He goes, "Yeah, that's not 9.8." I'm like,
Yes, it is.
I was like, "It's graded a 9.8." He's not. It's not. Look here, 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 and I'm like, "All right, whatever."
Yeah,
So I ended up eating and having to sit on that for a little bit longer to move it. So I was like,
that's a
all
good
right,
book to have right now. So,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
when I got it graded, it was $1,600, and by the time it finally sold, it was $600. It
Oh,
dropped $1,000 in like 6 months.
oh, that
I was
sucks.
like, ugh. But
It'll go
no,
back up though. It'll go back up.
yeah, I don't know. It's long gone. I've got more. I'd have to dig through my own personal stuff to find them, but I know I have at least one more
Yeah.
because now, I see you're grading your own stuff though. That's cool.
Yeah, my
I
books. Yeah, the Cutthroat comic books. Those are pretty cool. I've got a few of those for sale too. Generally, what I do when I write any of my novels or any of my books, the first copy that comes out of the box is mine. So the books that I have graded that are mine are one like the very first book, also signed and stuff. But yeah, and I've started buying like small collections from people and flipping those and stuff too. And that's mostly what I'm going to get graded at. Three Rivers is like some Star Wars books and said they'll all be for sale. So trying to make a little extra money on the side by doing that since I'm in the position where I'm, coming across those things fairly often. So
Yeah. So I got to ask with somebody pointed that out. Now I catch myself doing it all the time. So I have to ask. I did not know I said that as much as I do until somebody pointed it out, like in one of the last episodes. Sorry.
what was
But
that?
it's one of the things is that you don't realize you do something until somebody points it out to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, when you're going over to Three Rivers, with your books and stuff like that, you get your artist to sign stuff to you, or do you just take in
Mm,
what you have with you?
yeah, usually just if they're there, like,
Okay.
I will sign books when people buy them and stuff, obviously. But anytime I have a chance, like if any of my artists that worked on the book are gonna be there, I try to promote double signings or triple signings or whatever it is. I find that honestly helps sales. So if anybody's
Yeah.
listening out there that is an indie book creator, like try to get your art team at the same spot and don't act like it's not a big deal because it is a big deal. People that buy those books and stuff, when you're standing there and there's two of you and you're like, we're only together once a year, they'll probably buy it and get both of you to sign it.
Yep. Well, it's one of the things that I've discovered with indie books is in some markets, like our market, it's really hard to move indie books
Mm-hmm.
if the artist or the writer isn't there.
Yep.
As soon as the writer or the artist are there with the book, they'll sell out.
Yep.
But it's just you got to have the guy there, and especially if you got both of them. Holy crap, they
Yep.
jump on that big time. So
Yep. I've definitely noticed, now that my company's getting a little bit bigger and I'm able to, have another guy, either he or she just happens to be there or I invite them along at my table. Like I've definitely noticed. Like the first time we did your con down there in Piqua when Justin came with me, we had a line at our table a couple times throughout the day. So it was like, wow, that was crazy.
yeah, it's you guys. I don't know how well you guys did, but man, walking by your table, you always had somebody at your
Yeah.
tables.
Yeah.
But both times. So
Justin and I are both pretty good at getting people to stop and take a look at least. We always talk about it's a fine line between being, just a guy behind a table and a carny caller. Like you just want to find that you gotta catch the people walking by. As soon as they look and lock eyes with something, you're like, yo, what are you looking at? Come take a look,
yeah,
I don't really yell at them like, hey, come over here, skinny, or anything like that.
It's all shameless self promotion, man.
A
It
little bit.
is and it does walk that fine line between being almost annoying about it
Hmm.
to being, like receptive. You notice the guy, you get them, you
Yep.
go, "Hey, man, what kind of books you like? Whatever." And people are like, "Oh, well, then you'll dig this book right here. This
Yep.
is kind of in that vein. This is over here. You
Yep.
like horror comics, man? We got a horror book over here. Stuff like
Yep.
that."
Yeah, we should
And
have our second horror book. Should be coming out pretty soon. I'm not sure what's going on with that. They're trying to get it done. I know that much. It takes time.
do you put hard set deadlines on your teams?
No, not at this point. I don't even have hard set deadlines on myself right now. So it's just, if I were doing this as my full time job and I didn't have a day job still, like, yeah, probably, but it's right now, it's still pretty fluid. I don't have people that read our stuff aren't messaging me like, yo, you said this was going to be out. So if that happens, then maybe we'll talk about that. But right now, it's just everybody's busy doing their lives with their kids and day jobs and stuff. If we get to where this is the thing, then yeah, we'll get a little more professional about it, I suppose. But I think Cutthroat Comics in general pumps out stuff a lot quicker than most other indie publishers, I think. So
Well, I see you guys every show. You got at least one new book. It seems.
that's kind of about, well, not every show, but at least every 3-4 months I try to have
Yeah,
something
yeah.
new. So
Well, that I've noticed. I'm not with you at every
yeah,
show, but
right, right.
you know, it's very cool that you guys do that because I've been going to cons since I'm 40, going to be 49 next month. I started at 15.
Okay.
So, and you saw those guys that had every show, they might put out a book every 2 years or something like
Hmm.
that if they're lucky.
Yep.
And, they're always at the show, they're always got their table there, they always have like the same three books. And I kind of feel bad for them because, at a certain point, people just walk by and are like, I got that, and they walk on.
Yep.
But I also don't because I'm like, yeah, I got to put out something new,
Yep. Yeah. The
you
first con
know?
I ever did, I had Stingray one. I had my first novel, Stuffed Squirrels and Porcelain Angels, and I had Judy in her blue cape. And I think I had a couple T-shirts. And I didn't know what to expect. The guy next to me is now kind of a buddy of mine, and he told me, he's like, dude, every time you do a con, you need to have something new. And I kind of took that to heart. So I mean, we try, but I have noticed, and I tell my guys, that work on my other projects and stuff that I publish for, like, you're going to come out with one book and it's going to sell probably, but when you get 2 or 3 or 4, that's when people are going to start buying the whole runs and stuff. You're going to make more sales and stuff because it's, when fans look at that, they don't want to wait a year to read the next issue. They want to buy 3 or 4 at a time. So
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I was going through some books a while back, putting my stuff in the computer, rebagging board and stuff and whatnot. And I'm finding these indie books that I bought at cons, and it's like one issue, maybe
mhm.
two.
Yep.
Then you never hear from the guys again. You never see them again, or if you do see them, they don't have anything to do with that book anymore. And
Yep.
you're just like, you don't nothing. Okay, okay, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean that's part of it too. As a fan myself, I look around, I look at the quality of the work that's on whoever's table, and then I start thinking to myself, if I buy this guy or girl's book or whatever, are they even gonna be around, or are they gonna, is their work
Oh
good
yeah,
enough that I'm gonna be able to watch them succeed?
yeah,
Fans are investing. I say this all the time. They're buying your work, but they're also buying you.
yeah.
So they have to believe that you're going to be somebody that they should care about in the future. So
Yep. Well, and it's a shame because man, I've seen so many really good artists, really good writers put out really good books, maybe one, two issues, and then they start infighting or something happens or whatever, and then they'll bring in somebody in maybe in for the third book, and it's just a guy that they got because they could afford this guy because he was doing $10 pages or whatever. And you're just like, oh, okay, never mind then. And you're just like, oh, I'm done. And it's, you
yeah,
know, um, and I'm going to feel bad because I can't remember this dude's name at all. But there's one guy used to always be set up over in Indiana. Every show I did over there back in the day, because we did every Indianapolis show at one point, and he'd have this huge display, all this stuff set up. He had this really nice book. The cover was phenomenal. And then you open it up and the artwork looked like a 5-year-old did it, because he spent all of his money to get this. I want to say he had a big name artist do the cover, and then he did the interiors, and he had a big display, had the cover made into a standee, all this stuff like that. And we're just sitting there and we're like, oh, you know what? I looked at the cover. It was like a Spawn-esque looking character, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Okay.
And I think I got busy and I never was able to get back to his table. And then the next show I was at, and I was like, oh, he's there again. It's the same book. All right. And I looked through it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, how much is this? And mind you, this is like 93, 94 maybe.
Okay. 30 years
and it was
ago.
like $10 for a book back then. I'm like, ooh,
yeah.
What the hell, man? I was like, if it would have been $5, I probably would have just bought it.
Yeah.
But you're like, nah. $10 in 1994 was.
That's a lot for a comic. Yeah.
Yep.
That's it's a tough business, and I see people now that sell their books for $10, $14. And when I see that, I often wonder, it's like, okay, how many pages is it? And you look at it and it's just the minimum 24 pages. It's like, well, I mean, if you're getting that, then all the more power to you. I'm not gonna be mad at you, but our books are 5, our variants are 10. For me, it's as much as I want to do this as my day job, like, I'm not trying to make $1 million off 10 books. I'd rather make $1 million off 1,000,000 books,
Yep. Well, one of the cool things that I've noticed some people do is, okay, your book's a $5 cover price book, and say you have your artist with you, and you both sign it. He puts a little quick sketch, like maybe a head or something like that, $10, and they sell like mad, even though it's a little tiny little 2x2, done, and sells 100 times better than nothing. Yeah. But you throw that extra $5 in there, takes 2 seconds, you make an extra $5 per book.
Yeah, I'm about to start doing. I think for the Kickstarter, there's going to be COAs that will unlock as a stretch goal. Mm-hmm. But then I think I'm also going to start offering them like an extra $1. Here's a COA. I just show that I signed it and stuff. I don't know, just a little something extra, just to make a little bit, just that little bit extra, So
it's all it takes, man. Is if 100 people buy a $5 book, you make $500. But 500 people buy a $6 book, it's an extra $100. And like I said, you guys always got new material coming out. You've got enough books, so even if okay, you're doing Three Rivers. Next time you go to Three Rivers next year, you're probably gonna have two more books.
Oh, at least probably 3 or 4 by that time, honestly.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that you guys, you're talking about not having a book every con, but the thing is, the guys from Three Rivers aren't coming to Dayton.
Yep.
So,
yep.
So even if you have the exact same books at Three Rivers that you have at Gem City in 6 weeks, 7 weeks?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So if you have the same, they're not going to know.
Yep. Yeah, it's well, and we've got, I guess I forgot to mention the next. So after Turkey Sharks, the next comic I'm working on, I expect to jump pretty big for us. So my best-selling book is that Cocaine Stripper Stronghold. And so now we're doing a prequel comic book series of that. So it'll be 4 issues, and I've written it. It's off to the artist, but we haven't quite started on it yet because I'm going to pitch to some bigger companies and see if somebody will pick it up. But if nobody does, I'm just going to do it myself. But I expect that book to be huge. Like if we end up doing a Kickstarter for that, I expect it to be a monster because the book itself just flies off my table so fast. So I think a lot of people are getting pretty excited about that, and it turned out really funny so far. So,
but I know this is bad a question to ask. if you do get a bigger company to pick it up, are you could you lose money essentially? Because, since you're
Probably,
doing it yourself, it's
probably.
all your money.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the big picture, over 10 years, maybe. But I'm looking at, I'm still trying to grow my brand and myself. So I'm looking, I'm kind of weighing it. If I can get a bigger company to pick me up, and then I start getting free tables at cons, I start getting more notoriety, more people care about who I am and therefore who my company is and who the people that I publish for. I mean, it's a trickle down effect. Uh, Not as far as economics, but as far as notoriety and getting people to come to our tables. So it's kind of a what's good for the goose is good for the gander type of situation. That's why I try to get my guys to understand when they work for me, like what's that high tide raises all ships or whatever.
Yeah.
I explain to them, the better this company does, the better I do, the better you guys do, and vice versa. The better you guys do, I get more exposure. It's all helping each other out, kind of like almost like a family thing. But
Well,
um, go ahead.
with some of these companies, I know that was it Scout, Black Mask, Stun them, Black Caravan. They
Mhm.
have like okay, Scout has Scout, then it has like Scout Junior or something like that, and it has like
Scoot or something like that. I
yeah,
think.
it
Yeah.
has subs, underneath that. So, man, would you ever try for something like that if Black Mask or something could pick you up and just be like Black Mask presents Cutthroat Comics or something like that? Would you ever?
Um, yeah. I mean, I'm honestly I'm open to any idea, whether I go along with it or not. I'll listen to it. Um, and yeah, and that's something too. Like if another company does pick up this book, one of the things I will at least suggest is that we do Scout presents Cutthroat Comics, Cocaine Stripper Stronghold or something like that. Jointly publish it. So I think that's what like Image does, right? Because it's got
Yeah, because you got Skybound,
yeah,
you
each of
got
them has their own
your
imprint, but
Shadow
it's published
Line.
under Image.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you got
yeah. So something like that would be cool. But if they were like, here's an extra, I don't know, 10 grand to not do that. Okay, cool. I'll take that 10 grand. So, well, just hypothetical. It's we'll see what happens with it.
yeah.
More or less.
Your son's having a blast back there behind you.
Yeah, yeah. He's bored.
Mine's upstairs. If not, he'd be running around behind me right now too. So,
Yeah, yeah. He got to play video games for 2 hours while I took a nap, so I think he's pretty happy.
that's mine. He was mad because I ran him off because he plays video games literally in this chair. So he's like, dude, you cannot play video games while I'm recording.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, now, with doing comics and do you think they would like if you could get somebody to pick up your prequel series, would you try to get them to do maybe a trade paperback of Cocaine Stripper?
I mean, maybe at some point because, like I said, it's 4 issues. So, like my plan right now with Ginger Avenger is once the 47 copies are gone, like I'm gonna make it a trade, and then I'm gonna add in like some behind the scenes stuff, like some character designs, maybe even a page where I talk about like this is where the idea came from, and this is, or maybe even some some Easter egg like stuff like when this character says this, that's what I was talking about, or stuff like that. Add some stuff to it, and then I'll have that as well. That way, I can still continue making money off the art and the story that I put so much time and money into. I'm not just gonna let it go. I haven't quite, made my money back on those probably. Because what 3 issues, $9,000? I probably haven't made $9,000 back off of those 3 books probably. But I just can't.
Yeah,
We have so much product now. I can't carry everything anymore, honestly, and I don't have room on my tables anymore. Too. I'm in like a weird position where I need to be buying corner tables and bigger tables, but we're not quite making enough money to justify it. So it's kind of like, you gotta make decisions.
dude,
Kind of.
I'm not gonna lie. Sneak that little table with you. Sneak
Mm-hmm.
out. I have a little like 4 foot table I take with me to all cons, man. Because sometimes if you're in a good spot, you just put that right up there and
Yeah.
L it. Yep.
Yeah.
And most places don't won't say anything about it because,
Yeah.
as long as it's in your space, you're fine.
Right.
But every once in a while, you'll get somebody kind of grumble about it. But
Yeah. Yeah. I've had bigger tables a couple times, corner spots, and it seems to work out pretty well. So,
yeah. Have you thought about doing like a blank covers or anything like that?
uh, thought about it. Yes. Will I? I mean, maybe at some point. If like one of my artists or something, like if Tyler or somebody was like, "Hey, man, print up 25 blanks or something for me," I would probably maybe do it. Probably.
Yeah.
So,
Now I know back in the day because they don't even do it anymore. This is bad. I have to grab this. Um, I know back in the day, some places did. You'd get the full book here, and then you get like a little square,
oh yeah,
just blank. But it was the
yeah,
only problem is that about the only thing you could draw on it was with a Sharpie. Because pencils did not want to draw on it or nothing like that.
yeah,
But it's good for a
yeah,
remark. So you put your like little head of your character in the corner or something like that.
yeah. It's
And
and then, they got the metal covers and foil covers. Like it's all stuff I want to do. I need to feel like we're moving in the right direction to throw money at those types of things. So it is getting there. I mean, the company's come a long way, even just in the last couple of years since I've met you and stuff. Like
yeah,
we've
yeah, yeah.
definitely, I had
You're
that one
kicking
shop,
ass.
down in North Carolina just ordered 60 books. So it's like that's what I was doing before this. I was bagging, boarding, and signing those books, trying to get them ready. So
Yeah. So, but it's fun watching you grow. I mean, I've only been here for a couple of years, but I've seen you guys just, you know, almost doubling. It seems like every time I see you, you've got
yeah,
almost twice as much stuff as you did before.
it feels like that. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
And man, I have all kinds of respect for you, man. Full
I
time,
appreciate it.
regular job, writing, working, putting all your books together, you know, buying collections, selling stuff, and
Yeah.
making money on the side.
It's
I don't know how you do it,
it's
man.
it's quite the hustle. I mean, and that's what I tell people all the time is you see the end result of the hard work, but you don't see every day. I like literally 5 days a week. I will work my day job from I get up at 5:40 and I get home maybe a little bit after 3, and then I work for another 3 or 4 hours on my books and all that, and then the collections and all that. So it's 13, 14 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then even today I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, sweet, I got a free day. And then I was like, oh, no, I got to bag and board all those books. Oh, crap, I've got 10 books that I need to get out and clean them before I send them in for grading next week at Three Rivers. I was like, oh, I got to do my exercises. Oh, I got to continue reading Hellscape 2 and get some of that done. And then here we are. It was noon before when I messaged you. And I was like, damn, I was just then getting done with some of that stuff. So it's
Yeah.
never ending.
Oh man. Once I get done doing this, because I got up this morning, gym, mowed the yard, do this. I'm going to work on some stuff over here for myself. Then I got to edit tomorrow's show, get that ready, because you're not going to drop tomorrow. You're going to drop the 5th, so that'll still be before your so we can get that and post credit or post stuff and whatnot. And that's going to be fun because that I'm going to have to probably edit after I do my con. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to be worn out
Yep.
coming in
Yep.
here, tick, click, click, taking it off. So and people don't realize, man, you're traveling and driving. It's not like you're flying anywhere, man. That takes a
Yeah.
lot out of you too. Holy crap, man! Being on the road sucks.
Yeah, I did that Louisville Comic Con a couple months ago, and I got up at 4 a.m. I drove down to Louisville, did the con, and then I drove right back. So it was 4 a.m. to like I got home at like 9 at night or something like that. I was wore out, but it turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah, do you if you're like me back in the day, I always worried about shows. I still worry about shows, man. I started having freaking almost panic attacks going into shows, going, man, I hope this one turns out good, man. What if I go there and I don't make nothing? And how do you handle that? Uh,
That I'm trying to remember. I want to say maybe once a year does that happen these days. I know when I first started, I want to say it was like the second or third con I did. It was up in Michigan, 2 day show, so there was hotel stay. the whole weekend I sold one comic book, and that was pretty awful. If ever I was going to quit, that was going to be the time. Um, but yeah, anymore, I have so much product. I have my pitch down. Like I know what I'm doing well enough where it just, I don't really have bad shows. I mean, there's some that are better than others, but I always make goal
Yeah,
usually.
see, that's my problem is that I haven't had a bad show in probably a decade. But still, every show, man, I start having those freaking. Oh man,
Mm,
well, what's going on? Oh man, there's a Celtic festival, or there's this or this, and I start like, oh man, is it going to affect my, And I'm like, and I get in my own head, and
yeah,
that's the worst place for me to be is in my own
right
head.
on. Yeah, what you do is a little bit different than what I do. I more rely on my pitch and my sales abilities. Yours is, if are people going to show up? So
Yeah,
yeah, it's a
yeah,
little
but
different.
it doesn't even help. Like when I do Jim and Dan shows down in Dayton, or if I set up and do a show, man, I always feel like
Yeah,
I start having that stupid panic attack.
yeah,
And then I don't sleep. I get about 3 hours sleep, get up and go do this stuff next day.
yeah. It was one of the things. A saying that I read several months ago is worries are a wish you don't want. So every time I start worrying about something, I just think of that, and it kind of goes away.
Wow, that's a,
I don't know who
I've
said
never
it.
heard that, but
Yeah, I was like, that makes sense. So
heck yeah, it does.
yeah.
I'm like that makes perfect sense. I hate to say this, I'm my own worst enemy. I'll get in my own head.
Oh yeah,
Somebody asked me for a script I've been working on. I'm like, I don't know where it's at. And then I'm like thinking about, I was like, did I throw that away? So I get mad at stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm done. And with working on comics and stuff like this, I know I'm all over the place right now. Do you ever get in your own head and basically like, you know when you're putting stuff together? Like,
No, honestly, I see, because I've got a lot of writers and stuff on my Facebook feed and social medias, and I hear them talk about, you know, doing 8 drafts of something, or throwing away stories that didn't turn out how they want. I don't know if I'm just super egotistical or I'm just that good. But no, man, I don't. Everything I write ends up, even after I do a couple drafts of it, it always turns out to be what I want. Um, I'm not short on ideas. Can't say I've ever had writer's block even once. I've been doing this 8 years now. So not once have I sat down and been like, I don't know what to do. Usually it just comes to me.
yeah. Mine is that I get dialogue. Dialogue, just I can write the story, I can come up with the
Yeah.
adventures, I can do all that stuff, but when it comes down to people talking, I
Yeah. That's the hardest part. What I do is so for a novel, for instance, well, in the comics too, kind of, I will punch up the dialogue as I go through. So, like, you write the whole story, the dialogue you put in just needs to be, if you can get it good the first time, cool. But, just get what they're supposed to kind of say, a generic version.
mm-hmm.
When you go back and read it again, now you know how it starts and you know how it ends. So, you know where you need that character to be. So you can kind of punch up their dialogue there. And then on your third edit, that's where you really focus in on the character and the dialogue and get that like as good as it can be. Give them their voice, if they're Southern or if they're smart or stupid or whatever they are, manipulate the words to what that character should sound like.
that's that
Dialogue's the hardest part.
Yeah, it's I never really thought about that using basically basic dialogue as the placeholder, and
Yeah.
then coming up punching up that basic dialogue and making it full conversations. Man, I never really thought about that.
Yeah, even in the comics. So usually like my script will have, there'll be jokes and stuff for each character or whatever they say. But then when Cristiano sends me the sketch pages, a lot of times you have to change what they say because the way he drew it doesn't look like that's what they're saying. So you can change the line, or to keep it current, like how South Park does. They make a show, in a week leading up to it or whatever they do.
7 days.
Yeah. So I will tweak dialogue as I go to make the references and jokes more current. So that way, even though it's still going to be 6 weeks or so before the book comes out after the Kickstarter, at least the jokes are like, oh, I remember that from 2 weeks ago,
Okay,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
That's a really cool way to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no, I'm gonna ask, which do you find easier, writing the comics or writing prose?
It's kind of a different animal, really. I can write a comic a lot quicker, obviously. um, the books, there's so much more detail. Depending on what you're doing, it's really kind of about the same, honestly. Uh, a comic though, because it's 24 pages, and then I won't think about what even happens next. Generally, like I'll have like kind of an idea about maybe where a character's gonna go, and maybe some notes on it, but I won't even think about that until I sit down to write the next thing. As where with books, for 4 months or whatever it takes to write that book, every day I'm like writing that book. So
Yeah, see, when I've written and created characters, I always essentially created a Bible
yeah,
for the book. And so I have like, okay, this is the history of this guy, and this is where I want it to go. This is the history of this guy and where I want it to go. And see, I would not be able to do what you do with just the I'll figure it out next issue. I'll figure it
yeah,
out.
yeah. With the comics, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and even with the books, sometimes like in Hellscape 2, which is Concert of Flies, like initially I thought it was going to go like one way, and then as I got like halfway through, like the character I thought was going to be the hero ended up being the villain of the book. So it just kind of made more sense to do that. So it's fun to surprise yourself sometimes.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Now I'll get back to your Kickstarter here. Where can people find your Kickstarter?
So I think if you look up Turkey Sharks 1 through 4 on Kickstarter, there's like a notify on launch button. You can click that, and when we launch on June 7th, you'll get like an email or something about it. Um, and then, I mean, if you look on any of our socials, I've talked about it, I think, on all of them already. Just seeding the idea that it's going to come out there. So, but yeah, once it's live, I mean, you just go to Kickstarter or any of our social media things, and it'll be there.
All right. And where's your social medias at?
I mean, obviously Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I've been trying to use TikTok a lot more. I enjoy that one more than any of them, really, for whatever reason. We have a Snapchat. Trying to move away from the Snapchat because I've always used that as my personal and business. It's kind of weird. I don't know. I get girls add me that are like trying to get me to sign up for their OnlyFans through the Cutthroat Comics account. I was like, this is a business account. Like, can you not send me porn, please? But they don't care.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I was like, if I went through and cleaned out my Instagram and my Twitter,
Yeah.
I would have no followers, it seems like.
Probably.
Yeah. But well, man, I don't want to make you talk too much longer because you're sounding rough and
Yeah, I can
I
tell
don't
it's
want
like going.
yeah. But I appreciate you coming on. I am a fan of your work. Your novels, go find the prose novels, go find the comics. Um, you'll enjoy them. People that out there that have not found them. Do you have a web store? That's one of the other things I forgot to ask
Yeah. You go to cutthroatcomics.com. It's on there. There's a store button. And you can click all the tabs and read about all the books and comics and stuff we have, prior to buying them. Got some promo videos as well. So,
All right. Well, like I said, I appreciate you coming on here. I do, and we will get this up and like I said on the 5th. And
yeah, actually, Turkey Sharks 4 has a variant cover. His character's got his first cover appearance, Tornado
nice.
Kid. Yeah. Excited about that,
Yep.
right? All right.
Gotta love kids. Kids are fun.
Yeah.
How old is he?
8. Yep.
8.
Yeah, he created that character when he was 5. 5 or 6.
Yeah, I'm pretty
so
sure it's
he's
5
been
or 6.
in 3 or 4 of the books and finally getting a cover. So
Yes.
it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
my kids created a character. I tweaked him and created his backstory. They created the character. I passed it off to my artist at one point. I've seen pages, and that's as far as it's ever been. He's never seen publication yet. So, but my kids made him when they were like, oh geez, 10 and 12 maybe, I think, is when they created him.
Yeah.
Before my 12-year-old. So yeah, I'm out there.
Yeah. Well, hit me up. We'll get it going, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's the worst part, man, is I've got characters I've created. I'd have to dig because I know I still have scripts.
Yeah.
I did an anthology horror book. I did one called Doc Haxon, and Doc Haxon is Indiana Jones meets Doc Savage meets Doctor Strange. I don't
Okay.
and that one is my big one. I have all my stuff is created in one universe, but at different times. Because
Right.
it starts out pre-World War II, and then they go to modern day. So from pre-World War II to now, and I like it. I have some of the artwork for Doc Haxon literally hanging up at the shop. So
Get it done, man.
yeah, maybe one of these days I'm gonna come up to you and I'm just gonna hand you like a stack of scripts. I'm like, here you go.
Yeah.
If you enjoy them, run with them.
Yeah. I mean, I do edit now, so
Yeah.
only comics though. I don't have the time to edit somebody's book, but I'll edit a comic for sure.
Yeah. And then on top of that, I'm writing 2 movies. So
Oh, nice. That takes a long time.
and I think one might become a series. I might try to do that as shorts. Just drop it down. But when, like I said, I don't want to keep you any longer. It's been a blast. Go rest your voice. Go take another nap.
I may have to do that. Are you doing another Piqua in November?
That's the plan. We've just got to figure out some logistics on some stuff. That might be our first 2-day, and it might be the first one that in a long time that we're gonna have people pay to get in, because we're legitimately looking at booking like decent sized guests for this one.
All right, on.
Yeah.
Let me know about that one when you know, because I think I've got November open. I think I left it open for you guys. So.
Yeah. That's the plan is that if worst comes to worst, we're just going to have another one similar to what we're having now back at the mall. But the goal is to expand with this next one.
Right on.
And then if this one takes off, then we might only do the one a year, but it will be a larger one instead of 2 smaller ones. So
okay.
Yeah.
Also,
but like I said, it's been a blast. This will drop on the 5th, and I'll send it to you and give you a heads up the day it drops. So.
Awesome.
And I'll put all the links and stuff at the end of the episode and all that fun stuff. But man, you go take care of yourself. Go relax.
Yeah. What's the name of the character your son created?
The Chimera.
Mm-hmm.
What's his powers? Because my dad will tell you the one.
He can swap in and out of forms. Like he gets pinned down in a cave, and basically when he erupts out of the cave, he's got giant like mole claws, so he can dig. But he's got like a shark head with a rhino horn and a big giant leatherback turtle shell, or not leatherback, but like a snapper turtle. So everything he does is whatever he needs for the moment. His body morphs into that. Like he grows like a giant scorpion tail. He can swim because he can grow gills, stuff like that. Whatever he needs, he can use. So that's he's and it's a lot of Greek mythology in there, and there's all kinds of stuff. But Chimera is the ones that my kids created.
So if he needs to help someone with gardening, he can turn into gardening too.
No, he would turn into like a badger and dig.
Yeah, there you go.
But he like if he went into like combat or something like that, his skin could become like thick, like a rhino's hide and stuff like that. So, yep, that's what my kids created.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, But and then I tweaked his backstory and gave him a backstory in the whole yards. So
Nice.
What's his backstory?
um,
Oh,
Yep.
well, my mom's here.
Yep.
Take care. See you.
All right.
All right, man. Take care, man.
Yeah.
Talk to you later.
Thank you.
See
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good
Bye.
day.
Later.
Nice meeting you.
See ya.
Meeting you.